Hello, welcome to my first ever video tutorial going through Photoshop. Anyway, this is Jordan Begay from Jordan James B from Instagram. If you're following me, thank you. First, I want to say thank you for watching the video, for subscribing. Hopefully you'll leave a like, a comment, all that fun stuff. But I want to start off by first saying that I don't do things the same as other people on people who've been using Photoshop for a while. My methods might be different. They might be switched up. There might be an easier way to do something, and I'm doing a more difficult way, or there might be a way to get a more effective look for it. But that's just how it is. That's how I work. It's how I feel more comfortable. And if I learn those ways, that'd be cool too. But for now, this is how I do my own work. All right, let's get back into the video. All right, so now first up thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this kind of metallic-y look. I have it here on my desktop as my logo. So yeah, we're going to get that kind of metal feel to things. So first, obviously, first thing you want to do is open up Photoshop. I am working in a Mac. So if you have a PC, the only thing that'll be different is kind of the commands are they're changed around, and you hit Control instead of Command to do shortcuts. For most things, there's some other things I think that are different. I don't quite know all of them, but and first I want to say that my computer setup is slow, so if you see some of the things kind of slowly coming up, that's it. This is my document size. Use whatever you want. I generally work in a much higher resolution and higher size than probably most people. So I'm just kind of going through the advanced settings here. There's nothing really I change in there. Only thing I'm going to change is I'm going to bring this down to 300. So yeah, you get your document open. And again, sorry, it's slow. I don't know why it's so slow, but well, I know why. It's because it's 6 years old. I got my computer back in 2013. I'm still using it, but it's working fine. Photoshop crashes from time to time, but it's good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to change the background color. I don't like to just change it. I make a duplicate copy and just change the copy of the solid. Next, we're going to add our text. I'm not going to add any kind of, logo right now or any kind of emblem from anybody else. I'm just going to use my, basically my initials in my designs, JB Designs. So the font I'm going to use too is something that font everyone has, so you don't have to worry about trying to find anything. It's called Impact. Just hit the drop down button, scroll down, you'll find it. It's a really big, bold text that's going to help with this effect. So yeah, now I'm just kind of adjusting the size, getting it to where I want it to be, and now I'm going to add the word designs. Obviously it's way too big, so we're going to bring it down to a nice medium to small size. Adjust it again to kind of fit, and those should lock. If you don't have those on, I think it's under View. I didn't actually go through that with this one. I'm going to adjust the kind of tracking of it, making sure, it's kind of even with designs, although it is a little bit smaller still. But I'm going to adjust that now. There we go. So it looks about even. You can obviously go through and make it exact if you want, but as long as it kind of feels that way. And if you're just playing around in Photoshop too, if you're working, obviously adjust to where you need it to be. There we go. Again, just showing you all the different sizes and stuff. So the layers panel, you can click multiple layers, move them around simultaneously. I remember I was using old Photoshop and I couldn't do that, so it was terrible. I'm just adjusting my layers, moving them around. And now what I'm going to show you is the adding the bevel and emboss. Again, if you're new to Photoshop, right now probably isn't the best place for you to, because I'm not going through this step by step with every little detail. I'm just kind of giving you a quick little rundown of everything. So yeah, we're going to go down to the FX panel. It's down there in your layers. You'll see it as an FX. You can go to bevel and emboss. And this is where you're going to add that kind of, that edge to it, that almost like a, it's like it's carved. So you're going to see here, chisel hard, smooth. Basically, they're going to make it look different. That smooth makes it look more bubbly. Chisel soft is a little more soft, but it's kind of looks the same as chisel hard once you adjust it and stuff. So what we're going to go with here is chisel hard, just to give it that kind of carved look almost. Again, adjust your size, your settings. You can use exactly what I'm using. You don't have to. This right here is the shading of it all. Basically, it's shading. You're going to adjust the depth of it, how much shadow you want, how much you don't want, which angle you want it to be coming in from. And adjusting the gloss contour is going to affect that as well. So always keep that in mind, how it's going to look, how it's going to feel, where you want your lighting to come from. It's always up to you. The way I do it isn't set in stone. It's my personal preferences. Again, just to get used to it, you can adjust them how I am, just so you can get to know the settings a little more. I usually don't adjust the altitude that much. I might from time to time, but usually I don't. And here are all the various contour looks you can have. There's preset ones. Bottom two are mine. They're exactly the same. I don't know why I have two of them. So basically with these two, they're kind of opposite, as you can tell. With the white one, you're not going to get any color in. With both of them, you're not going to get much color in them, other than like on the outsides and vaguely with the darker one inside. But I generally use this setting right here. It kind of gives it a good all-around gloss. But I always go -90 because it kind of reverses it, and again, it gives it a good sheen all the way around it. Again, adjusting the highlights, the shadows. If you want to, obviously you can't take the shadows all the way down because then it takes the effect away almost completely. I always add a contour, but first looks like I'm adjusting the depth. Yeah, so I add a contour, adjust it to where I feel it looks best. I don't adjust it too much because then it kind of gets a little crazy, but again, do with how you feel fits for you. Textures, I used to have a lot of them on my old setup, but I don't on this one, so I don't really use them that much. It gives it texture. It can give it a little bit of depth to it if you want. We're not going to use that here. Instead, we're going to go down to a gradient. So that gives it kind of more of a metal vibe. So yeah, I mean, settings are pretty straightforward. Opacity is how much it comes through. The scale is going to make it look, well, I'm showing you here, more of that kind of gradient fade look. So I'm just adjusting mine to kind of fit of a different. You can reverse it, you can flip it around, you can change the style of it. I'm about to go through the styles now and show you that linear is just going up and down, or side to side. Radial is a circle, radial. I use that one sometimes, not often anymore, just because I just don't like the look of it sometimes, but anyway, that's just me. Angle, I never use. Reflected, sorry. I use from time to time just to give it that kind of middle glow, but again, I always kind of adjust it to where it's not as intense. Because sometimes subtlety is better. You know, you don't want to have an insane, like, over-the-top look. Diamond is diamond. So again, just showing you the scale. Adjust it again to how you want, to where you want. It's not set in stone. I'm going to change the angle again to regular 90 degrees. Adjusting the shadows. So yeah, and that's that first part. And it looks fine, it looks passable. Again, I would go through and add details, but for now we're just doing a little bit just to get you the basic idea of it. And now on the designs part, you don't want to just copy and paste what you did. You can and then adjust. Either way, I mean, but I like to just kind of go through, and unfortunately it doesn't start over. See, it'll show you the settings I used before, and they're a bit crazy for that size of a text. So you always want to adjust down and have it fixed to what to it'll look more natural rather than it being just kind of blown out. Okay, so now I'm just adding a little bit of color. I'm showing you that the color is they're just layered on top of each other right now. So if you don't use a blend mode, it's just going to be a color. You're not going to see your gradient. So you go through, you add your color, make it a, you know, whatever you want it to be. I'm using a bluish kind of hue, going through the different kind of blend modes that you can see the difference in how they appear. These are the lighter ones. They're going to be more on the lighter side, and these are the darker options. These are the overlays. So again, I don't know all technically how to explain each one of them, so just play around, get the look you want. That's how I learned. And these are all the various settings for the colors. You can go through, adjust them, add your own swatches. But it's easiest just to kind of move around the little circle. But yeah, I mean, you just find the color you want, move it, and then to move the color to another layer, I hit copy on that one, and I went down to going up to the JB. Then I'm going to add that color to that layer. Again, changing the blend mode. Then Command or Control V, Command or Control C to copy things. That's kind of a universal computer talk. But yeah, it's coming together. Again, you can add details. You can, as you progress in how you design, how you want your looks to be, you can start to learn to add details. But right now, so I'm using this lens flare I got from psdbox.com. Great place to get all kinds of things like that. I'm going to select a portion of it that I want with the marquee tool. So there's various ways to select things. This is just a way to get a big, massive area. You don't have to pick and choose. But if you don't choose the move tool, you're not going to cut it out. It's just going to move around the little marquee box. And that's what I'm showing you here. So I select the move tool, Command or Control V if you're using shortcuts. Move it over to my other layer or my other document. And oh no, you can't see what's behind it. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, you're just going to go over to the blend mode options again and hit the little drop down layer, drop down button, go down to screen, and like that, you're going to be able to, it's fine. There are complications to it. Things obviously I'm not going to go into now, but you move it around, adjust it to what you want it to be. Again, you can put it behind it. You can have a nice little glow come through. I'm going to leave it on top. So yeah, I like to move it to where, see, this little shine, the highlights, because obviously that's where light's going to reflect off of. It's going to kind of give it one of those little reflective flares. So move it around however you feel fits best your look, whatever you're going for. Or at times I'll just put it on the top, or like kind of like a outline almost. Again, I'm adjusting. I'm gonna do something that a lot of you don't want to do a lot of. It's kind of just scaling it in this way. With this, it's fine if you scale it down like this, because it's not going to come out all crazy and weird looking. But if you scale it too much, obviously it's going to become pixelated. It's going to look off. So just use caution. Use your, good judgment on it. I'm just adjusting this, moving it around, trying to figure out where I want it. I don't really like it here, but I think that's where I end up leaving it. You want to change the color of it, you can go down to image adjustments and click on one of those, or hit the shortcut. It's Command U for Apple, Control U for PC. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So you can adjust the hue like this, but it kind of tends to make the color a bit weird sometimes, especially if you're going to use a blue. So I skipped that and I just hit down the little checkbox next to says colorize. It's going to change the whole color of everything on it rather than changing the hue of every color in the picture or in the image. So I'm going to adjust it to a blue color. Again, just to what I feel it needs to be. You don't have to choose these colors. You can choose any color you want. There's so many. I just like this because it matches with the blue and the kind of metal look we have going. Hit OK, and then again, I'm going to duplicate it by hitting Command or Control J. It'll duplicate the layer you selected. And it just gives the reason why I duplicate it, gives me a little more, makes it a little more bright. I'm going to adjust the opacity a little bit. again, to my liking. Move it up and down. You can do a whole lot of things with the look that you want. It's totally up to you. I've said this, I'm a broken record now. Just adjust and to where, like right now, I'm just trying to show you the basics of what I do, and then from there you can go with it. If you really need to see a full breakdown of this, I probably will do better ones. Like right now, I'm still just starting out, so bear with me as I'm kind of rushing through it, and my voice might not be as clear, or I might not be explaining things the way you need me to explain them. Right now, I'm just playing around with different looks and where I want the flares to be. So, again, I want to apologize. I am just starting out. Please be patient with me. This is my very first recording, so it might not look great, and that might not sound great, but I really do hope you kind of get a little bit out of it. But next I'm going to show you is I'm going to do this kind of outline, a different kind of look to it. You'll see, but stay tuned for the next video. Again, I apologize for any kind of me taking a deep breath or something. Whatever it may be, I apologize for my my kind of little errors right now, but I am just starting out. But I do thank you. Please like and subscribe, comment, share, do all that fun stuff. Thank you. Bye-bye.